right. So, good morning, Veronica. How are you again?
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of Coin Edition for taking the time in your busy schedule to talk to us today. So, basically, through this interview, we are trying to understand about the crypto scams that are surrounding the community, and hopefully, through this interview, we can understand how to prevent this from happening and help the community also face any more risk like that is rising up like for the new year and all that. So first of all, I would like to begin by saying that the crypto market the crypto market had a wonderful journey. I mean, not a wonderful journey, sorry. The crypto market journey in 22 was quite a whirlwind of events that offered both gains as well as losses. So, according to you, which was the most striking event in 2022 in the blockchain industry?
This is a great question. Honestly, yeah, like the whole 2022 was a very bumpy year for everyone in the blockchain industry. There are so many things happen, and the most striking incident, I must say, would be the FTS crisis that happened in November. I mean, previously, like the 3AC and the Luna crisis also hit the industry quite bad. But the FTS is kind of leading to a more it's been phenomenal or kind of a very devastating situation to a lot of investors, not just retail investors, but also institutions, investors, and funds. And most importantly, it impacted the whole trust for the industry. And now, like a lot of users are kind of flying or going away from the industry based on my understandings. It also taught everyone about how important it is to own their crypto assets and decentralized wallets. And that's why we've also seen exponential growth of our wallet downloads and sales volume and altogether the user base since November. And I believe that's a very important message that gave up to a lot of the retail investors in the industry.
Okay. As we know that there are crypto scams happening, there are numerous elements which have been responsible for these fraudulent activities. So, according to you, what are the common factors that you have observed that are responsible for these crypto scams?
This industry is pretty early stage in its infancy and it's highly speculative. So like right now, we are seeing scammers are taking advantages of a lot of the new beginners in the cycle. Because first of all, a lot of users come in, one kind of hoping to make a quick buck, right? Without taking a second thought on the potential risks. And this would give preliminary the scammers the chance to take advantage of the status. So like philosophically or mentally, people are looking for quick money, so they easily fall for scams claiming to have high APYs or yield incomes. Also, the industry lacks user education. That's the second primary factor that I would think of. Like many users came in without complete understanding of how decentralization works, what does self-custody means, how to properly use a decentralized wallet to protect their assets. A lot of users are not qualified as a kind of decentralized investor because they need to take full control and be full responsible for their own crypto assets. So in that case, like a lot of users lack the education necessary and thus they lose their private key, and a lot of the fund loss are due to human mistakes and they fall for scams. And furthermore, as a builder in the industry, I see few professional sources or channels that can give comprehensive and yet easy to understand content for these new beginners. So a lot of the concept and the knowledge in the crypto cycle are very difficult to comprehend for non-tech background users. And we definitely need more content operational platforms that can join in efforts to provide comprehensible and also easy to understand content for users to get to start and to learn the crypto and how to protect themselves in a day-to-day basis. So I see these are the fundamental reasons why now scammers are so easily kind of scamming people, and people lose money so easily, and so many people got scammed. And I believe these are the kind of major reasons as we see it.
All right. So you said this industry is quite new and it keeps on growing. So what advice would you give me? Like, let's say if I'm investing and if I'm trying to try to understand this blockchain industry, what would you say exactly is the blockchain industry?
Mhm. So since I come from a retail kind of investors background, so I will share it regarding like from the retail investors kind of perspective. I think the first thing is to kind of have a very reasonable or very clear expectation of what the crypto industry looks like right now. Since it's still very early stage, a lot of the DeFi projects, a lot of blockchain projects are still in infancy. There are a lot of experiments going on. There are a lot of uncertainty. The crypto secondary market is highly volatile. So it means that you could lose all of your money without your own mistakes. So it means that other people can easily kind of steal your money away, or due to any reason that they didn't mean to, you can lose your money. So you need to have a very clear risk management of your assets and investments in it. My first suggestion would be never put all of your life savings in crypto investments. It's always good to separate your holding funds and your investment funds. And for investments, don't put them all in the crypto kind of industry. It's always better to put the eggs in different baskets. So that's my first kind of suggestion. And second suggestion would be there are so many opinions going on. Like everyone has different opinions, and there are so many KOLs, influencers, YouTubers on sharing their opinions and shilling for projects on Twitter, on YouTube, on all kinds of social media, and there will be so many noises. And you can easily be biased because of the opinions right out there. So my second suggestion would be don't easily fall for any external opinions. Like always try to do your own research. You can rely on some reliable platforms to learn how to use the blockchain explorer or data and tools to kind of verify the information, such as Etherscan, right? Such as Dune Analytics. Some of these tools, they have dashboards that are quite easy to read and use for beginners, that you can actually verify the information by yourself in preliminary stage. So I always encourage everyone, try to verify the information that you have got, and don't easily fall for any external opinions. And my third suggestion would be like, don't rush in investing in any new projects. That's my third suggestion, especially in bear market, because we have seen a lot of scam projects also. They try to build seem to be legit projects, but actually rock pulls. So we are also seeing users falling for a lot of rock pulls nowadays, especially in bears market. People's moods and emotion can be going a little bit extreme. So I would recommend to kind of go and invest in the long-term projects who has been out there for a couple of years or for a while already, and they have built some reputation and trust already from the community, and you can see the track records of their past history, and you can see how the community is engaging with. You can see the reputation, you can see the comments. So I don't recommend to rush into brand new projects. I mean, it's high risk. It's people could argue that it's high potential to gain, but also the risks are also high. So I would recommend that to always take a second thought when you invest in a new project. So those are my preliminary kind of suggestions. And also my last one would be try to learn how to protect your funds. For example, try to use a decentralized wallet, for example. Try to understand how the DeFi and smart contracts works. All this kind of knowledge would help you a lot, especially when you're making the judgment, when you are doing the homework and doing the research. And it's better that you can safeguard yourself with the proper knowledge on how to protect the asset security.
Right, so you talked about understanding the wallet. So when it comes to storing crypto assets, there are usually cold wallets and hot wallets, which are the ideal choices for investors to store their digital assets. Now, according to you, which one would you suggest? Like, which crypto wallet would you recommend for the new year?
This is a great question, and indeed, a lot of users ask for our opinion on this. I have to say different wallets have different highlights and advantages and disadvantages overall. For example, cold storage wallet is a type of physical device that can store your private key in an offline manner. It's good for security storage, especially when you have a large amount of assets. While a mobile wallet, for example, an app wallet or browser extension wallet, is quite friendly for day-to-day usage. If you are a frequent trader or you are a frequent transfer, you are kind of making transfer every day, you probably don't want to bother to take up the physical device and then scan back and forth and then to sign up a transaction. So users need to choose according to their demands. We provide all different kind of options for users though. So users can, like right now, we are seeing a lot of users are splitting the usage for different purposes. So for large amount of holdings, they put in a cold storage wallet, while for day-to-day usage, for example, payrolls and also other transfers on a day-to-day basis, they just use the mobile wallet. That would be simple, but the funds stored inside are lower compared to cold storage. I think that would be a reasonable kind of a usage for a daily basis.
All right. Thank you so much. So first of all, as we know, when we associate crypto community, we usually think about the social media, and usually we can notice that the crypto community is usually associated with Twitter. Like that has been like, even though we can see that there are activities happening in Instagram as well as in other social media platforms, Twitter is the usual platform where the crypto community usually speaks their mind and try to spread information about the blockchain industry. So how should one identify it? Such case, like like there also be scams and influencers who try to promote coins. Social media has become a safe haven for influencers who hype up various fraudulent crypto projects. So how should one identify such cases and prevent becoming a victim of these fake advertisements on social media platforms?
That's a great question. That's a very the most important question that everyone needs to answer and speak to themselves. I believe the first one is don't fall for any opinions, like I mentioned. Those are just opinions. So it means that there are bias situation there. So it means that people who are speaking up for certain projects, they are biased. You don't know what behind the scenes, whether they have any financial kind of connection between the KOL and the project itself. You don't even know whether the KOL is part of the project shielding for it. So always be suspicious of all the opinions or viewpoints that you have read or view from YouTube, Twitter, and other social media. I think that would be number one. You can use that as a kind of a signal, or you can use it as a threat, but never fall for it instantly when you see it. Secondly, I would always recommend that you can look for some data or dashboard or leaderboard that you can easily look into all of the metrics, because data and metrics speak better than opinion. So those are fact-based situations. So it means that you do need to go through a lot of research and data information filtering process to decide which tool you find most useful. And here's are some of the ones that I would use. I would use Deepbank, Etherscan, Dune Analytics, and Nansum. So some of these are kind of well-known kind of online on-chain data analytics, and they've been there offering a lot of dashboards that you can look into. Okay, how big is the volume of the TVL of a certain contract, and what's the trend over the last couple of weeks of a certain product? Is there any kind of on-chain usage increase as the KOL claim? I would double check on that. So the data and the metrics speak better and louder than opinions. So I think the second one is that a qualified or a capable crypto retail investor should be able to build up their own strategy, should be able to build up their own knowledge tree and gather those tools together so that they can counter check and counter verify from different sources and channels, and to see which one would be the most reliable one. So I would recommend you to go deeper, especially when you are putting your money in. That you have to be very cautious with. So that's my second key suggestion to that. So it's always coming back to be your own owner, because the whole concept of blockchain cryptocurrency is that be the owner of your assets, be the owner, and be responsible for all of that. It could be scary, but it also gives you a lot of freedom. So it means that you have all of the options to choose. It also means that once you lose the money, you will be the person responsible for that. So it's kind of risky and also very educational process. And I think as time goes by, when you gather all those tools and information together, you should have the streamline to wash down all of the noises and then really filter the projects that you are interested in.
All right. So as we know, many of the crypto communities believing that 2023 will be the year where the government will be pushing for frameworks across for the blockchain industry. So there is still a gap in the regulatory framework. We can see that when it comes to the crypto industry. Now, according to you, what criteria should the government follow while developing regulations for the crypto industry?
This is a great question. Honestly, I don't come from a regulatory or policy background, and hence might not be the ideal person to talk about it. But I do believe that different governments might have different strategies for crypto regulations, and I think in someday in the future, regulation is gonna come in the Web3 cycle. I think as time goes by, compared to 4 or 5 years ago when we started in the crypto space, nowadays, the healthy conversation is being gradually fostered and built up between regulators and industry builders to help both parties and all parties to form a deeper understanding of the whole industry and how we can harness the new technology to empower the industry in every perspective. It's also important to improve transparency and accountability standards, such as due to the FTX crisis, right now everyone is kind of suspicious of the whole Web3 concept and decentralizations. And so right now we are seeing CEX showing proof of reserves as a part of the steps to be more transparent. So I think that's kind of moving toward a positive direction. And I think that's very important because like for centralized platforms, transparency and accountability means a lot because everything in decentralized ecosystem, they are transparent and you can read the codes. But most importantly, I think all blockchain builders should join hands together to build a safer product for the long-term growth of the ecosystem. So we are all responsible for it. Like we are builder as a builder, we need to build safe and easy to use product for users. And that's how we even started. So I think it's quite important that every builder in the ecosystem should be aware of this. And that's how we gradually build the trust. It takes a long time, but it definitely would pay off when we really reach that point.
So most of the people was shocked at FTX's fall. Now it was one of those shocking events in the crypto industry, leaving many investors suffering huge losses. Now, according to you, what advice would you give to crypto community so they would identify such scams or fraudulent activities so they can manage accordingly and to avoid any further losses?
Yeah, indeed, the FTX crisis is such a tough lesson. I have a lot of friends who literally lost their life savings from that incident. It's really a lot of people lost their life savings, and not just retail investors, but also project builders. They kind of have their funds and foundation funds even stored in FTX. So that was pretty bad. It's a very strong hit on the whole industry. I think standing from a retail investor's point of view, I still recommend that crypto is risky and volatile. If you come here for financial freedom and opportunity, I think holding is always a better option for speculative trading. I think it's important to not put your whole life saving, like I mentioned, into crypto. Always segregate the risk and manage the risk factors possible. You will need to have some reliable passive income compared to speculative crypto trading incomes. And also, I would recommend holding because right now in bear market, there are not that many kind of opportunities really in the industry that you can go for. And I think it's quite important that all of us need to learn decentralized alternatives, like compared to CEX and or centralized platforms. Never treat CEX like a bank. It's different. The regulatory framework is not complete yet. It means that the CEX right now, even though it has the concept of a bank, it doesn't operate or necessarily operate or be regulated like a bank. So I think it's important for us to learn how to use decentralized alternatives. For example, compared to CEX, we have DAX, we have DeFi yield aggregators, like there are DeFi lending protocols that you can earn interest even based on stablecoins, right? These are kind of low risk investment that you can think of. Instead of other CeFi earn products like Gemini earn, like that was pretty bad already in the last couple of weeks. Learn to use and read the proof of risk dashboards. If you do really want to use the CEX for the convenience, I think you might need to dig deeper into really understanding how transparent and how accountable those CEX are offering. So there are platforms like CryptoQuant and even DeFi Llama and Nansum. Like a lot of these platforms are offering this kind of CEX transparency proof of reserve reports that you can look into and you can judge by yourself on like whether they are really a good choice for you to use if you are looking for CEX. So I think it's important for us to really learn how to filter the noises and then make the right decision based on data, based on facts instead of opinion. And it's important for us to really learn to use the decentralized alternatives, not just trusting all your money on a centralized platform, but also learn to use DeFi, lending, like all of the decentralized concepts. I found a lot of them are pretty good alternatives compared to centralized options. So these are my kind of opinion and suggestion.
So we talked about the scams that are surrounding the crypto community, but we can observe that there are risks everywhere, not just in the crypto sector. But could like using the crypto technology or the blockchain technology, like could we apply it in other sectors in order to prevent any further loss or to prevent any further risk? Like if yes, could you please elaborate on how this can be done?
Definitely. There were like 4 or 5 years ago when like after the 2017 boom and there was so many discussion on how we can apply blockchain technology into all different kind of sectors in the human society. The nature of blockchain technology is about transparency, it's about openness, it's about anti-tampering. So no third party can really alter the data and alter the information on chain. It can be applied in many industries that need these elements for efficient and effective operations. For example, I previously come from a data-driven business sector. So I used to work in an IT company. The department I was in was focusing on data monetization based on consumer data. So I think that's a very typical Web2 business model, but it's not flawless. It has a lot of problems. For example, users don't have their own data safely protected, and users don't have a chance to take the share of the company revenue while the company is using the consumer data. So I think blockchain technology can be applied for consumer data protection. Users get to choose how and who they want to authorize their data and there's no single third party or centralized platform can take advantage of users' information for data monetization or future any kind of similar activities. I think this is quite important because it also could be the next kind of trend to be, because now we are seeing users on-chain behavior data are starting to accumulate on the blockchain. Like on-chain, we can see a certain wallet address, which DeFi contract you like to use most, which NFT marketplace you often visit, which kind of type of assets you are holding. So it tells a lot about you. And as the on-chain applications begin to explode, for example, there will be even more applications on top, like social networks built on blockchain, such as your own profile page on the blockchain, your own kind of blog post and your own medium on the blockchain. And as time goes by, the data will be accumulated over time, and they will become valuable assets for all these users. And it means that the blockchain empowers everyone to get the freedom, to get the full access to control how they would like to use their data. And they can take the monetary payback, and they can take the monetary incentives from the data usage of their own data. So I think this is a revolutionary application of blockchain technology in consumer data protection. Another interesting example, for example, would be global logistics and transportation. For example, the blockchain can display all the tracking information with full transparency, and there's no single party can alter or tamper with the records. This is great for supply chain authentication and source tracking. For example, if you are buying something from New Zealand and you are buying some milk powder or some other products that you trust that New Zealand offer the best choices, then blockchain records can show that whether they really come from a New Zealand source of the production, and like what is the supply chain kind of tracking records for that. Did anybody kind of upload some malicious or suspicious kind of things to it? So you can have a full record for that. So I think in a lot of other industries who ask for or who press for transparency and openness and anti-tampering and for any third parties, I think blockchain technology would be a very interesting thing to be applied to them. And I really look forward to more applications in not just cryptocurrency and financial sectors, but also like in social networks, in data protection, in even health insurance, or even medical data on-chain, and also other on-chain assets and global logistics and transportation. There are so many that we can talk about all day. But these are some of the examples that I have raised. I believe that the potential is much bigger than that.
So most of the questions that I've just asked were mostly general questions focused on
Mhm.
the crypto community and the blockchain industry in general. So right now I want to know that what adventures will Safepal go through in 2023, sorry.
Yeah, we've been here in 5 years. I can't believe that. So 2023 will be the 6th year of our continuous openness and evolution. So in the new year to come, we are looking to launch major product updates. We're going to have new type of wallets. We are also actively pushing wallet open sourcing process because that's very important to build a community trust and transparency. And we will continue to deliver useful educational content because we feel that the next generation of the Web3 users rushing into Web3 would definitely need helpful and useful and meaningful content to guide them through the first step of the crypto journey. We also look forward to a lot of partnerships with ecological partners such as blockchain foundations. We recently reached a partnership with Tong Foundation, for example, and also other DeFi NFT partners, and also projects who are building the next generation of blockchain application on Web3. We are very interested in that section as well. Last but not least, it's always important that we continue to listen to the community and deliver helpful and useful features to make their crypto assets management safer and easier. That would be our main and only focus throughout the years. And it will always be the major focus of the team for the next year and the even longer future to come.
So finally, I just want to ask this. So there are many technologies that are coming up in the new year, like with many crypto projects claiming they have the next best thing. So I just want to ask, like, according to you, what advice would you give to the crypto community regarding like what is the next best thing that they should look out for the new year?
I come from a wallet building background. The things that excites me most is the elimination of private key and seed phrase altogether. Right now, we are seeing a lot of onboarding hurdle, honestly, and I have seen so many difficulties for a normal user like my mom or my friends trying to understand what Web3 is and try to set up their own first wallet. And I feel that the existence of private key and seed phrase would be the biggest hurdle because a lot of users, they are simply not qualified or they are just not capable of managing their own seed phrase and private keys. I think right now, including Safepal, a lot of other teams, like a lot of us, are trying to understand and trying to dig deeper and do technical research on how we can move this pressure off from users' shoulder, and we can have some tangible, reliable solution or technology to help to eliminate the management of private keys. So it means that people should use a wallet just like how they download WhatsApp, just like how they download Facebook. They should have a very easy way to get started, and should take less than a few seconds. And we need to find easy way to onboard users. So I'm most excited for the new year to come about the elimination of seed phrase and private key, such as nowadays we're seeing NPC solutions, we're seeing private key sharding, and people are also talking about account abstract and also social recoveries. These are all great directions toward that future, toward that moving these roadblocks away from the journey so that users can easily get access to Web3, easily enjoy the financial opportunities and freedom empowered by the blockchain and crypto industry. I think that would be opening a new chapter for the whole industry. That would mark another kind of milestone for the whole industry, because by that day, it means that users can just jump in without any hurdle, and they could just start their crypto journey from the first day. So I'm most excited about that because I believe that the long-term development of crypto and blockchain in general should rely on the next wave of users joining us and then deepening the penetration rates, deepening the kind of adoption rates, and then we'll go for the next kind of massive adoption and bull run. So I have a strong confidence in that. We are seeing real progress made, and that is the kind of most exciting thing that I would like to see for the year to come.
So thank you so much thank you for speaking to us and helping me and the crypto community understand about these crypto scams. And I'm pretty sure and I'm confident that with your advice, the community will be able to defend themselves and prevent them from facing any such risk in the ever-growing world.